Hey, Larry, how's it going?
Hey, Shannon, it's going great, man. How you doing?
Good, man, really good. So to start off, you've been the voice of our childhoods for decades now, like most notably as Lion-O on the original run of Thundercats, but as well as Sonny the Cuckoo Bird from Cocoa Puff commercials and Count
Yeah,
Chocula. These are
yeah,
things that have been like a constant part of our lives for so many years. You voiced Lino as well as Jackalman on the original run of
yeah,
Thundercats, like I said, from
yeah.
1985 to 1989. And then you worked on
Mm.
the first reboot of the Thundercats on Cartoon Network, where you voiced Claudus from 2011 to 2012. And then in 2020, you voiced Jaga in the second reboot of Thundercats, Thundercats Roar, which is one of my daughter's favorites.
Is it good?
Yeah,
Good.
what has kept you so involved in this franchise over all these years?
Well, the fact that they keep asking me to come back and do them,
Yeah, yeah.
um, I don't know what else to say. I love I love the series, and I'm very happy and proud that to be a part of it. It's been an honor to be a part of it because you know, people have told me over the years, even before the advent of computers and email and things like that, I would get letters from people, and when I would meet people, a lot of people would tell me in varying degrees of detail
Hmm.
how much Thundercats meant to them because their childhood was not good for
Yeah,
there are a number of reasons for that,
yeah.
unfortunately, and so many times people say, I had it rough, but when I went into my room and closed the door and watched Thundercats,
Right,
uh, it all went away.
right.
So that's what kept that's what kept me coming back to it.
Yeah, and I'll say even for myself, I didn't grow up with a father, and I would say that
Oh,
Lionel was probably one of my cartoon dads. Gave
oh,
me some
that's
morals, gave me something to look forward to, someone to look up to, things like that, and I appreciate that. Yeah, it means a lot to me too.
well, it
Um,
means a lot to me. Yeah, it really means a lot to me. It touches my heart.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
it's always great seeing you being a part of Thundercats. It's like it's an anchor. You know what I mean? Regardless of what
Yeah,
form it takes, you're
yeah,
always that anchor for the show, and that's always been awesome. And as some shows go and they wrap and they're forgotten, and we you kind of got into it a little bit, but when did you notice that Thundercats had some staying power? That it was going to be around for a while.
well, from the very beginning, Shannon, from the first few episodes as we recorded them, we could all tell it was good product. I
Hmm.
mean, we'd go to lunch and sit around and talk about it. Some of the people in the cast had been on other animated shows. I had
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I had done, as you mentioned, Count Chocula and Sonny the Cocoa Puffs bird for years before I started those in '78, I think.
Mm.
So, but we were talking about the music. The music was incredible.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
that man.
when that opening theme came on, you knew that was Thundercats.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
writing was great. The writing was very good. The cast. I worked with some of the greatest people in the business on that show and on Thundercats and Silverhawks and a
Yeah.
few a few holiday specials for Rankin Bass too. We worked
Hmm.
together for a long time. Became really close, like a family. So we started talking about, hey, this show could really catch on. I think it's got what it takes. But you never know in this business. I
Yeah.
mean, you can have great people, great writing, great engineering, great music, and everything. And for whatever reason, there are many reasons why a show does not fail, even if it's pretty good. Some of
Right.
those are if it's promoted enough by the network,
Right. Yeah.
if it's given the right time slot by the network.
Hmm.
So you never know. But
Yeah.
to answer your question, when did we first realize? After about 6 months it had been on the air,
Hmm.
and we were watching the ratings go up and up and up and up. But I'll tell you, when for me personally, I really knew it was a hit. I went to Toys R Us
Hmm.
Christmas shopping,
Yeah. Yeah.
and first of all, when I walked in, there were three entire rows of nothing but Thundercats stuff.
Oh, yeah.
When
The
the when
days.
the when before that it had been a row of Thundercats, a row of He-Man, a row of Ninja Turtles, whatever was on by the time back then. But this time I walk in, there's three complete aisles, both sides of the aisle, Thundercats figures, toys, all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I thought, wow, this show was a hit. And as I'm walking down an aisle, there were two young guys, probably 7 to 10, looking at action
Hmm.
figures. As I walked up, I could hear them. One kid say, I'm going to get Panthro. He's the really cool one, you know. And the other kid said, yeah, well, I'm going to be Tigra because Tigra's cool. I couldn't help myself. I said, hey guys, you know, you ought to, one of you at least, you should get Lion-O. He's the Lord of the
Right.
Thundercats. He's the one that says, sword of the moments, come to my hand. And they looked up at me like I'm some kind of a perv.
Right.
And I realized this is appropriate. So I just walked away. And as I walked away, I heard one of them say, he didn't even sound like Lion-O.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, you mentioned that you also did some work on Silverhawks, which is another one of my favorites. You voiced Bluegrass on there.
Yeah.
And what was that transition like, going from Thundercats to Silverhawks? Was it just you know, okay, we stopped this, now we're moving to this one? Oh, here.
Yeah, well, they were both similar shows, obviously.
Hmm.
But they were done by Rankin Bass, the same people, and uh, they were, yeah. So and the writing was a lot the same. I could tell you that this reminds me of the Thundercats writing, how good it
Right,
was. You
right,
know? But in terms of the voice, frankly, both of those characters were just basically my voice.
right.
I wasn't doing what you call a cartoony voice for either of them.
Hmm.
That's what they wanted. When we first started, they said, "Now we don't want the Thundercats themselves, Lion-O, Tigra, Chitara, to sound cartoony, because they're half people and they're half animal, but we want you to sound like real people."
Hmm.
So I just basically, it was my voice. You know, Lion-O was just this voice you're hearing right now, except instead of me just sitting here being conversational on TV, it came out, "I, Lion-O, command it.
Right.
Give me sight, beyond sight." That's the only difference. And then we went to Silverhawks, again, it was still my voice, more low key as Bluegrass,
Hmm.
and with just a little bit of cowboy in him. You know, he was a cowboy, he's a space cowboy.
Yeah, yeah.
So he'd be talking to the copper kid, you know, and saying, "Now watch this, kid. Here's how you do this."
Yeah.
That's basically my voice.
Yeah.
And then we saved the really cartoony voices for the bad guys.
Right.
You know,
Right.
yeah, which we also did. I mean, we were the 5 or 6 of us in the cast did all the voices on the show.
Wow.
So we were all the good guys, all the bad guys. Over the years, as they added more characters, Rubber Burbles and things like that,
Yeah, yeah.
Lunatics and things like that. It was all the 5 of us
Now,
doing all
back
those
then, did
voices.
you guys? I know that they've kind of stopped doing this now, but back then, were you guys all in the same room when you were recording things and stuff, or were you separate?
Yes,
Oh, nice.
you're right. You're right on both counts. We were all in there always together.
Hmm.
Uh, and you mentioned it's not now.
Yeah,
Not now they don't record things that way, which is
yeah,
a shame. I won't
yeah,
go into the reasons why, but I miss being around other actors,
yeah. I
and the
bet.
other actors miss it. You're working with other actors, even if it's just voice, you know, and you're not on camera or anything
Yeah,
like that.
you can kind of go off each
You
other's feel and things like that.
feed
Yeah,
off that's exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah, and you get a little more rejuvenated because you want to impress your fellow
Right.
actors and things, you know.
You can kind of see their
But
reaction in their eyes and how you deliver the
yeah,
line, things like that.
today I'm doing a lot of work for Teen Titans Go.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
yesterday,
I saw that you've been doing
did
some
some
guest
stuff for
spots
them.
on there. Yeah.
And I go in the booth all by myself
Yep.
and do my part, and then somebody else comes in and does their part.
Yeah.
So, but that's the way it is now.
Yeah.
You know?
They get what they need, but yeah, I can imagine it must have been nice just to have the group there to be able to go off of
Yeah,
each other. Yeah.
yeah,
Um.
sure. Plus, it makes for better outtakes. That way.
Right. Right. Yeah. So you also provided voices on several video games too: Grand Theft Auto 4, Mafia
Yeah.
2, LA Noire, which was awesome. What were those experiences like, and how was it different from doing voice work and animation?
Well, the first several that I did were not different at all because they were just I wasn't on camera,
Ah, yeah, yeah.
so to speak.
Hmm.
So you go in the booth, recording booth, the small one, you know, and you read your lines and everything, and then you go home and wait for the money.
Right.
And but I did one recently called Red Dead Redemption
Oh,
2.
yeah, yeah,
Huge hit.
yeah.
And I played GB Cripps on that. He's an old curmudgeon, you know. He says things like, well, she claimed to be royalty,
Right.
but she had a head the size of a pumpkin. That was that guy.
Yeah.
The great thing about that was since I'm on camera, in other words, you can see me,
Hmm.
it's hard to explain. For that one, I went to enormous, it was a hangar. It used to be a rocket, they built missiles there
Hmm.
for NASA. It's now a soundstage. And you walk in and they put you in this latex suit with little patches all over it. And those are hooked up to the computers. And computer learns how you move, how you do this, how you do that. So when it comes on TV, like when you see my character walking, my wife always says, yeah, that's you. That's the way you walk. All right. Because it memorizes, the computers memorize every movement of my facial features, everything. And what doesn't look like me, it's the way I smile, the way I frown, and stuff like that. And that was a lot of fun and totally different than anything I'd ever done before.
Yeah, I bet. Man. Now, lastly, I have to mention your daughter because I'm such a fan of hers.
Me too.
Kenney Silver, she's hilarious. She's an actress, a producer, a writer. She plays Deputy Trudy Weichel on Reno 911. Classic. Jerusha on Superstore. I remember her all the way back in the 90s from The State when I was a kid. I'd stay up and watch it.
Sure.
So what?
Well, I was on The State too. I was on The State too. I was the announcer.
Oh, man.
The opening announcer. And then every once in a while we'd do a fake commercial, and I would do
Keep it in the family.
Carrie is, I'm so proud of Carrie. She's just doing incredibly well. She's just starting a new series now called Maggie.
She's in everything, man. It seems like everything funny she's a part of. So
it's funny because when she was first starting in the business after college, she would call every once in a while and say, "Dad, I got a part on this thing," And now somebody will come up to me on the street and say, "Hey, I saw Carrie in that new show. She's fantastic." I say, "Oh, good." And I go home and call her and I say, "Are you going on a new show?"
What show is it? You do so many.
What's the big deal?
So I was wondering, like, as a father, what would she like? And also, like, as a father, how did you foster her creativity? Because she's been working for so many years. How did you go about that?
The most important thing, I think, was like all kids, she wanted to be an actress when she was a kid.
Yeah.
She used to put on shows, and when she was 4 or 5 years old, she'd have all the people in a family reunion, everybody just sitting there spellbound watching her do these little acts. So she always was an actress.
Yeah, she has that magnetism too. Just focus on her.
Yeah. She lights up the screen. Yeah. But then she asked me at one point, finally, about 10 or 11 years old, "Dad, can I start doing commercials in the movies and things?" I said, "I tell you what," I didn't want her to, because I worked with a lot of kids, commercials and things that have done it, and most of them are fine, but it messes up a lot of kids.
Sure.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
And but I said, "I tell you what, we'll go to talk to Uncle Don. Don Buchwald is my agent, still is.
Yeah.
But we were very close family friends. And I knew she would, and he was my agent. Did I mention that?
Yeah.
Okay. Got to keep doing that.
Yeah, you're fine.
10% of nothing is nothing. And I said, "Let's go ask Uncle Don. And whatever he tells you to do, because I do whatever he tells me to do. I follow his advice implicitly."
Right.
She said, "Okay." And I didn't contact him first or anything to tell him what to say to her or anything like that. They went in, met for about 20 minutes. They came out. She says, "Dad, I'm going to wait till I grow up. Uncle Don says, stay in school, do plays, do theater, do anything like that. And then when you get out of school, then you start professionally." And that's exactly what she did. And to this day, she thanks me for that.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? She may have had as much success had she started when she was 10, but she'd be a different person.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, of course.
So anyway, that's what the deal was. I never pushed her. I never would tell her, "No, you can't do it," or "I don't want you to do it," or "I don't think you should do it." That's why I took it off my shoulders and gave it to Don Buchwald.
We'll leave it to Don. See what he says. Won't you?
Yeah. Well, sometimes kids will listen to somebody else that they respect before they'll listen to their
you can tell them the exact same thing, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone else, they hold a little more gravity. Oh, this isn't just mom and dad telling me, that I'm good at this. Yeah. I get that. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, man. It's been an absolute pleasure and a dream come true. And thank you so much for being on, man. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Oh, thank you. I'm just noticing you don't have any lion nose back there. Work on that.
Oh, yeah. No, I do. Hold on. Wait a second. Let me see.
I know you have some.
Where's it? Right there. There's Lino.
There
There's
he is.
Mumra. Jackalman's back there. Monkey in. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. They're back there. They're in
Okay.
there. And I got the really
We're
big
good
ones,
to,
too.
yeah,
They're on the
good.
other wall over here. Yeah.
We're good to go then.
Yep.
Thanks, Shannon, so
Hey,
much. It's been a pleasure
thank
talking
you
with
so
you.
much, man. I appreciate it.